Well, gracious good morning, sports fans, and welcome to Coffee and Swimming. We are coming to you live here from East Kentwood High School in the KPS Aquatic Center as we are just moments away from the start of day 2 of the 3rd annual Don Kimble Memorial Swim and Dive Meet. And what a morning we have in store for us. Last night, it was a first for me. In my 35 years as a broadcaster and as a college swimmer, I have never been at a meet that had 7 heats of the mile. So we had 7 heats of the mile yesterday. I'm telling you, I aged exponentially yesterday. It was like tick-tock, Clarice. But while it was still exciting. It was still exciting. Sorry about that, folks. Sometimes some of you I got a couple of messages yesterday asking why I was in and out sometimes on the broadcast yesterday. Well, the truth of the matter is, and some of you might be aware of this and some of you are not, I'm also the aquatics director here for this facility. So sometimes I have to switch it over, and it's some new toys that I bought. Understand this whole streaming process is entirely my own stuff. I just before COVID, I wanted to start to stream events in high school and college for parents, grandparents, and friends who couldn't be there. So I bought some cheap equipment about 6 years ago, and I started this venture. And as it went by, the numbers became so impressive, and I've been so overwhelmed with support from people that I've gotten better equipment, new stuff, new things. Now, I even have wireless mics that I can give to, like, the public address announcer. So if I need to go out, you got the one camera on the scoreboard, the other one completely showing the lanes. I can step out, and you really don't have to miss a beat. And that can happen sometimes, particularly in the morning session, which is the prelims. I try not to miss any part of the finals. Obviously, that's where the placements are going to be made and stuff. But occasionally I do have to step out to handle a pool situation, a lighting situation, a patron situation. They're out of paper, the scoreboard hiccups, take your pick, whatever it is. If I have to do something, I do occasionally step out. So anyway, that's where we're at. And I tell you, it is my proud pleasure to bring you the action here. For those of you who do not know, my name is Joey Sutherland. As I said, I'm the owner and operator of Biscuit in the Basket YouTube network. My director, producer, and executive producer, and main technical support guru and camera operator is the legendary Chase Joseph. Brandon Graff will be our public address announcer, and you'll be hearing him from time to time. He is also, ironically, doing 2 jobs, as he is also our meet manager. Down on the diving side, Eric Gale, the one of the greatest divers in the state of Michigan and the longtime diving coach for East Kentwood High School, is running the diving down there with Marshall Carr. The scorers table here today, we have Eliza Granzato and Rachel Azemont are taking care of the scorers table. And the backup timers are different athletes from Davenport. I think the majority of them today are, in fact, baseball players, which I kind of touched on yesterday. But I would be remiss, folks, if we didn't talk about what this meet is all about. This meet is such a great example of everything that's great with the sport of swimming and diving. It is named after Don Kimble. And if you are anywhere in the state of Michigan involved with swimming, you will know Don Kimble. He was a legend at both USA age group and high school swimming and diving. And he ended his career as one of the coaches for Davenport University. Unfortunately, we lost Don 3 years ago, and it hurt the sport because he was such an ambassador of everything great with, thank you, Brandon, with everything that is great about the sport. And I can't say enough on how much of an influence he was on all of us. And as Brandon right now is, oh, I guess we are, and it is 10 o'clock, so I guess we're here to start. We are going to get straight into the women's 200 IM. We're going to have 5 heats here of the 200 IM, and in our first heat, we will have in lane number 3, Megan Dallaire from Wayne State. We will have Caitlin Santagita from Aquinas, Phoebe Johnston from Hillsdale. As you can see, we're into it right now. In the IM, we start out with the butterfly. It goes butterfly back, breast free if you're new to the sport. But to finish up here on Don Kimble, one of my favorite parts of the fact that we honor him by naming this meet after him, which is essentially the midterm, the first taper meet of the, of the season. They'll have a second taper and when we get to the end of February, early March for state and then nationals, depending on how far they go, or conference and nationals. I beg your pardon. But finishing up on that one, why I love this one is now one of the replacements for Don a couple years later is Dan Kimble, his son, is now a coach for Davenport working with Justin Vasquez. And while the two swam together in college, it's just nice to know the legacy of Don Kimble continues. Hitting the wall after the backstroke, transitioning into the breaststroke right now. That was Santagita from Aquinas. She was with a 40.26 going into 117. Trying to find a good spot here for you guys for that scoreboard. I didn't realize how off it is. Somebody must have hit my camera up in the balcony. So that's going to force me to, not force me, but allow me, I guess is a better way, to make it slightly bigger. I think that will work. I'm going to lock it and switch it. It'll give it to you slightly bigger so you can see it picture in picture. I hope you have a big TV if you're trying to see the scoreboard well. If you have old eyes like me, I'm telling you, once you hit 50, you can't see anything more than a foot in front of you without the magnifying glasses. So as we are congratulating Megan Dallaire, she wins the first heat with a time of 2:19.43. Now we're going to go into the second heat here. This one in lane number 1 from Aquinas will be Madeline Critchell. And lane number 2 from Bethel, it'll be Michaelin Van Erden. For lane number 3 from Hillsdale, it'll be Rotem and Gecko. And lane number 4 from Bethel, it'll be Kayla Logeas. And lane number 5 from Olivet Nazarene, it's Maylee Lingle. And lane number 6 from Aquinas, it's going to be Megan Hincher. And finally in lane number 7 from Bethel, it'll be Isabel Nuette. We must be having some issue right now with the scoreboard, or honestly, I'm not 100% sure, as we are peaking right now. One of the nice things you can see on the scoreboard, while I'll try to keep you updated on what's going on, I'm not sure if they're going to start with the 1 meter or the 3 meter. It appears they're going to start with the 1 meter with the boys, and then when that's completed, we will start with the 3 meter for the girls. Tomorrow it'll be flip-flop. Remember, this morning is prelims, tonight is finals. All right. I'm not sure what the holdup is. Oh, there's a whistle, though. So now we'll get to that second heat. The swimmers are right now getting up onto the blocks. And here they go. Again, off the blocks, they're going to start out with the butterfly. It's fly, back, breast free. This is heat number 2 of 5. Seed time to beat in this heat out of lane number, let's see what it is. It looks like lane number 4, Kayla Logeas. And we had a scratch. That's the problem. We were waiting on lane number 5, which ended up being a scratch from Olivet Nazarene. As we are into, let's try to see where she's at. Coming back right now on the backstroke. Again, with this being the 200, not the 400, everybody just does one lap of each of the 4 strokes. Looks like the leader in lane 3 right now will be Andageko from Hillsdale with a 35.21 for a 104.63 as they transition into breaststroke. This must be where Logeas is going to pick or cut into the deficit. Want to thank you for joining us here on the Biscuit in the Basket YouTube network. All right, I'm getting our first, I've had 6 text messages already today and 2 Facebook messages. And every one I get, I'm just tickled that people enjoy the stream so much. I enjoy bringing the action to you. As we have the winning that first one, as I said, it would probably be, it's Andageko, goes 2:15.29. That is a 9-second drop. Good googly moogly. Second place on that one is going to go to Logeas. Third place will be Megan Hincher, who goes 2:23.34. And that's a 2-second drop. So actually 6 of the 7 were personal bests. But winning that one, again, was Logeas. Now let's get into the third heat. It's Rose Haney from Wayne State, Kat Huter from Olivet Nazarene, Sierra Mason from Saginaw Valley, Flora Sklenlar is in lane number 4 from Saginaw Valley, Kayleen Darby from Saginaw Valley is in lane number 5, Amelia Edens from Aquinas will be in lane number 6, Maria Suarez de la Fuente is in lane number 7 from Bethel. And finally, Lauren Cordier from Saginaw Valley is in lane 8. Seed time to beat here is, let's see. Sklenar from Saginaw Valley with a 2:09.13. And at the end of the halfway mark, it is... it's actually 1:00.2 by the Aquinas standout, Eden. So that's a good start as they transition into the breaststroke. I talked about this, and if you listen to any of my broadcasts, one of my favorite parts, I love any IM, whether it's the 200 or the 400 in college. But what I love about the IM is how it sets up to where good breaststrokers, the IM is decided by how the breaststrokers do in it. We usually see either a major makeup or a drop thanks to the breaststroke. And that's, in fact, what we saw right there. a 37-26 from the seed leader, who actually throws her from 3-second deficit after the first 100 into first place as we go now into the front crawl, and they're making their way back. Stroking it through. 2:09, as I said, was our seed time to beat. And 2:09.7, which is almost exactly the seed time. Second place goes to Darby, 2:11.48. Third place goes to Edens from Aquinas, 2:12.76. That's a 3-second drop. Darby's 2:11.48 was a half a second drop. So some great times once again early on. But congratulations on that 2:09.7 for Sklednar. Now let's take a look who we have in this fourth heat. Jenna Schmidt from Saginaw Valley is in 1. Madison Labry is in lane number 2, also from Saginaw Valley. Joanna Burham is from Hillsdale in lane number 3. Ella Wagner from Davenport is in lane 4. Ellie Belmore from Wayne State is in lane number 5. Emma Dickhunt is from Hillsdale in lane number 6. Inez McNichols from Hillsdale is in lane number 7. And I don't have you on. I mean, I have your mic clipped right now until I need you. Yep. It's okay. Of what? Oh, here, I'll check. Brandon Graff is trying to find out if he's with me, so I'm going to have him talk, and we'll find out.
Testing, 1, 2, 3.
You're not close enough to it, but you are on.
All right.
Yep, you are on now. All right, so at 58:51 is Wagner at the halfway mark as they transition into the breaststroke, and again, this should decide it. Our seed time to beat on this one is, in fact, the Davenport standout Wagner, who has a 2:08.1 as a seed time, which honestly, folks, might be good enough to place in the top 4, including that final heat. But remember, this is prelims, not finals, so you want to save a little bit. Going into the freestyle, Wagner at 134.89 with Belmore at 137.28 and Burham at 138.58. Last flip turn before they head home. That's the part, again, we are going to get down to our final 16. Well, I believe we'll have 2 heats of all the events tonight, regardless of how many heats we had to begin with. And taking first place with a time of 2:05.69 is Wagner. That's a nice, really solid 2.5 second drop. Second place on that one goes to Ellie Belmore, who hits the wall at 2:07.80. That's a 4-second drop. And now we go to the final heat. From Hillsdale in lane number 1, Lauren Camp. Abigail Wampler from Davenport's in lane number 2. Paige Howell from Olivet Nazarene is in lane number 3. Haley Briner from Olivet Nazarene is in 4. Haston Horling from Wayne State is in 5. Allison Early is from Hillsdale in lane number 6. Tegan Risher from Bethel is in lane 7. And Justin Zizraika is in lane number 8. At the end of the first 50, a 27:42 for Briner. And she's got the fastest seat time of any of the swimmers at 2:06.72. As they are now at the halfway mark of the back crawl. Coming up here to the wall right now. Thanks for joining us on the Biscuit in the Basket YouTube network. Still drinking iced coffee right now. We'll transition to green tea here shortly. We are, as you can see on the scoreboard, we are starting to get some of the 1 meter scores showing up from diving. So you can occasionally peek at that. As the breaststrokers are going at it now. We will come back for the men's 200 IM with 4 heats. Transitioning from breaststroke into the final leg, the freestyle, with the lead, and it is a nail biter at 138.42. It's Briner from Olivet Nazarene. This is interesting as they're making their way back. The times on this are really going to be interesting. We're at 2:07 right now and hitting the wall at 2:08.96 is Briner. Second place on that one goes to Horling, 2:10.46. That's exactly her best time. Interesting. Now we are going to transition, as I said, though, into the guys' version of the 200 IM. In our first heat, it's going to be Brody Millerov from Saginaw Valley in lane number 3. Andrew Coble will be from Olivet Nazarene in lane number 4. Jason Swenson from Aquinas is in 5, and Eric Slabbert from Saginaw Valley will be in lane 6. Coming up on our first 50. And it will be, wow, out of lane 6 with a 24.96. Eric Slabbert from Saginaw Valley has the lead. Second place right now after the butterfly is Brody Milleroff. The backstroke version is about to be completed. And look at this lead here right now for Slabbert on the end lane with another 28.86 that keeps him in first place, 53.82. Milleroff is with a 32.37 at 58.46 as they transition into the breaststroke. You can hear it when the teammates kind of cheer him on. A very nice crowd here this morning at the KPS Aquatic Center. And hitting the wall still with the lead with a 33.49 and a 127.31. With a 5-second lead over Milleroff is Slabbert from Saginaw Valley. The two teammates on the end lanes duking it out. All right, congratulations. Eric Slabbert goes 155.64. That's a personal best. Second place is Milleroff, who goes 2:02.34, also a personal best. Third place from Aquinas will be Swenson, who goes 2:24.67. Wow, that's an 8-second personal best. And fourth place, 2:27.70. That's a quarter of a second shave for Coble. Now into heat number 2 from Aquinas in lane number 1. It'll be Ian Clapp. From Olivet Nazarene in lane number 2, it's Bryce Rodriguez. Rodrigo Vargas from Saginaw Valley's in lane number 3. Clayton Kennard from Wayne State's in lane number 4. From Saginaw Valley in 5, it's going to be Almost Zedlak. Lane number 6 is Grant Sandstedt from Davenport. Luke Martin from Aquinas is in lane 7. And also from Aquinas in lane 8, it'll be Tony Parlato. Wow. We have 5 swimmers in the mid-24s on that first 50 in the butterfly as we now transition into the backstroke. Making their way home right now. Coming up on the halfway mark of this 200 IM. In the lead in lane number 4, that's going to be Clayton Kennard. He had a 27.54 on his backstroke. Puts him at 51.91 in the lead by almost 3 seconds. Here's where things get fun. The breaststroke. Will this tighten it up? We'll see. Inside the flags. Hitting the wall with the lead with a 31.58, 123.49. That's Kennard. And he still has a 5-second lead over the rest of the field as they transition into the freestyle. And taking it, Clayton Kennard with a time of 1:48.84. That is a 4-second drop. Second place will go to Zedlak, and he hits the wall at 1:55.89 for a second drop. Third place on that one was Grant Sandstedt from Davenport, who goes sub-2 for the first time this year. He hits the wall at 1:56.52. That is a 6-second drop, so some good swimming all around. All right, heat number 3, Joe O'Neill from Wayne State in lane number 1. Robert Hall from Davenport's in lane number 2. Arthur Marquise is in lane number 3 from Saginaw Valley. Jack Fries is in Olivet Nazarene in lane number 4. Alvaro Ruiz de Canis from Davenport's in lane number 5. Julian Lizay from Davenport's in lane number 6. Michael Meinert from Olivet Nazarene's in 7. And Matthew Lloyd from Bethel is in lane 8. At the first 50, it is a couple of 24 lows. Actually, we had 4 24s and 2 25s. So a very fast start to this heat. Heat number 3 of 4 here of the men's 200 IM. All right, let's see, what do we got in the leader right now? Ruiz de Canis from Davenport at 52.66 as they transition into the breaststroke. Let's see who the best breaststrokers are here in this IM. At the wall, coming back right now. This is razor thin right now. Very close meet. It's hard to see who's got the head advantage as we hit the wall. About to go from the breaststroke to the freestyle. Who's going to have the lead? 127.5 for Lizay from Davenport by 9/10 of a second. 9/100 of a second over Ruiz de Canis as they come now to the final 50. Remember, this is prelims only. Finals will be tonight, where our top 12 will compete. And taking the tape, hitting the wall first with a time. Wow, Jack Fries goes 26.69 to end up 154.33 and capture the prelim here. Second place was Ruiz de Canis with a time of 154.72. That's a second drop. And third place is teammate Julian Lizay, who goes 154.96. That's impressive because, folks, that is a 8-second drop. 8-second drop at this level is pretty impressive. All right, now into the championship, or the final heat, I should say. Prelims, it's not championship. We have Joe Sheets from Bethel in lane number 1. Also from Bethel in 2 is Ford Crackle. From Wayne State in lane number 3, it's Lorenzo Tazinari. In lane number 4 from Saginaw Valley, it's Logan Fox. David Siegel is from Davenport in lane number 5. Alex Duhame is from Wayne State in lane number 6. Evan Hurtado is in lane number 7 from Aquinas. And Kinu Gorecki from Wayne State is in lane 8. We're into the backstroke right now. Coming inside the flags. This is a very fast heat. At the halfway mark, it's 52.14, thanks to a 28.27 for Ziegel from Davenport, has the lead. As they transition into the breaststroke, this will separate the the top places from the middle of the pack here. Coming up on the wall. Back they come. Getting ready to transition into the freestyle. It is really close between lane 3 and lane 4. Or 4 and 5, I beg your pardon. And it is 120. They are at a dead tie right now between Fox and Ziegel as they make their way home. Exactly 124.91. Tied to the thousandth of a second. Holy guacamole, Batman, this last 50 should be fast and fun. On the way home, though, we are definitely going to have a clear winner now, and it will be out of lane number 4. Logan Fox goes 151.29. That's a half a second drop. Second place is Ziegel from Davenport. He goes 152.97. And folks, that 152.97, that's a 2-second drop. Pretty awesome. All right, we're going to turn it over to Brandon Graff here and let him announce who we have in the 500. I'll pick you back up when we get done with the end.
In this first heat, in lane 3, Kylie Clark. Lane 4, Lily Heath. Lane 5, Emma McNamara.
All right, folks, I want to get at least a little bit of a look here at what's going on in the 3-meter diving. I got to see where we're at. We're in, before I switch over there, I do have the heat sheets here. What round is it? It is round 2, and there's actually only so they might be almost done here already. I'll wait till the next round. When they get to the third round, we'll try to get over there. So we're going to keep it here on the swimming for now. But I do want to check in on when we get to the end of the men's 1-meter round 3, we'll go to the girls 3-meter round 3. So we'll keep that one going. As we're doing diving right now, we'll come back to swimming. That's why I had Brandon Graff, our public address announcer, and our meet manager tell you who is who. You can see it, but you're listening to me right now. I'm back on with you, but we're going to be doing the round 3 for girls 3-meter after the completion of the round 3 for the guys 1-meter. We'll be right back. Keep it here on the Biscuit in the Basket YouTube network. All right, sports fans, Joey Sutherland back with you. That Taco Bell does not mean it's time for a run for the border. It means we are in the final 50 here of the 500. Let's take a look at who's going to win this first heat right now. The seed time to beat was 5:55. We are going to crush that one. On their way home right now as Scott walks in front of us. First time I got to see him today. And about to hit the wall right here and taking this first heat with a time of 5:26.06 and a personal best. It's Kylie Clark from Saginaw Valley State University. That is a great time. She ended with a 32.04. She was holding those right around that time, so that's a rock solid 500 for the Saginaw Valley standout. Second place is still here, and looking at the times, Lily Heath from Aquinas is looking to beat, and she does just by the hair on her chinny chin chin. She goes 5:55.01. That is a half a second drop. With Emma McNamara trying to go sub 6:20. I think she's on her last here. It's going to be real close. She's at the flag. I don't think she's quite going to get a personal best here. As we're going to get ready for, and we're going to turn it over to Brandon Graff.
In the second heat, in lane 1, Emma Hall. Lane 2, Ella Outhaver. Lane 3, Elizabeth Williams. Lane 4, Katie Benedetto. Lane 5, Justine Circa. Lane 6, Isabel Felch. Lane 7, Hilda Redblood. And lane 8, Murphy Crawford.
All right, folks, as I promised, as the guys finish their third round of the 1 meter, we will get ready for the girls' third round of the 3 meter. I got that. You can see it right now. I'm going to transition here in a minute from, in fact, let's do that right now. All right. With that, I will transition. So it's not the most optimal angle. You can see they're still warming up right now as the boys' round 3 finishes. We will know when it's time, as we will start with Anna from Davenport. She'll be doing dive 401B. And we'll get back to the swimming. Two of my favorite officials are here this weekend. John Robertson and Scott, as we just talked about a few minutes ago. And it's always nice to see them. I work with John a lot for high school, particularly with diving. But he's a rock solid USA and college official. All right, looks like we're ready to. And that was, you can see, scores of 4, 5, 4, 4, 4.5. That's going to bring up to Riley Hurt is going to be doing dive 205C. She's on the closest of the two board, the left side. This from Ashland. She's doing a back 2.5 somersault with a tuck. Nice get up, enters. You can't really see the enter, but I'll give you the scores. 4.5, 5, 4.5, 4.5, 5.5 for 39.2. That's going to bring us up to Kaylee Mills. She's from Saginaw Valley doing dive 203B. She has 73.5 points coming in. The leader is hard to say because how the system's set up, it also has the guys' 1 meter scores at the leader. So I'll have to kind of keep an eye on this one for you. As we get set for Kaylee's dive here. Working at it, setting up. She gets up, nice entry. Let's see how the judges score that one. 5 judge scoring panel. 4.5, 4, 4, 4.5, 4 for 27.5. Puts her at 100 points. Next up, we have Michaela Senkis from Wayne State. She'll be doing dive 305C. That is a reverse 2.5 somersault with a tuck. It is a DD of 2.8. She has 95.6 coming into this dive. Nice long approach, gets up super high. Nice entry in, just a little too much splash. You can hear the bell in the background. That's the end of the 500. We'll try to get you the result on that heat. Scores, I'm sorry, I missed the scores. As it'll bring us to Grace Overbeek from Davenport doing dive 403B. That's an inward 1.5 somersault with a pike, 2.1 degree of difficulty. She's at 56.4 coming into this dive. Gets up nicely, nice streamline in. Judges scores. 5.5, 5.55, 5.5, 32.55 brings her up to 89. Now we are going to go to, from Wayne State University, Wen Wadsworth Kirkaru. She's doing dive 303C, same dive we're going to see for the last 2 divers here. That's a reverse 1.5 somersault with a tuck, 2.0 DD. She wastes no time. She wastes no time here and gets 27 points, brings her up to 99.3. As Brandon Graff gets set to announce the next set of the 500, and we will have our last dive here before we transition back. In this 4th heat,
lane 1, Lara Galley. Lane 2, Ava Frick. Lane 3, Megan Seeloff. Lane 4, Alexa Hyber. Lane 5, Rebecca Wallace. Lane 6, Lucy Wilkerson. Lane 7, Josefina Gonzalez. And lane 8, Jamie Parsons.
And 29 points there for Whitcar. Maddie Whitcar from Ashland brings her up to 128 points and puts her in the lead. Now we're going to transition back to the 500. You heard Brandon Graff say who everybody was there.
So that's your little preview for Heat 4. In this heat, in lane 1,
it might help if I go to the
lane 2, Deanna
right setup here. Sorry about that, folks.
Mason.
As we transition
lane 4,
back.
Samantha Fowler. Lane 5, Angie Gomez Garcia. Lane 6, Dominique Van Bury. Lane 7, Marissa Booth. And lane 8, Isadora Sakarik.
All right, I'll try to check in on the diving again later in the rounds, but for now we're back to the 500. You can see just barely in the bottom corner of the scoreboard the different divers as they're back now. They transition each round from the guys' 1 meter to the girls' 3 meter. That'll be the same tonight in the finals. Tomorrow it'll be flip-flop. The girls will be on the 1 meter, the guys will be on the 3 meter. Thank you for joining us here on the Biscuit in the Basket YouTube network. Being I haven't taken a peek in a while, let's see where we're at. Already some pretty decent numbers of people joining us, and I thank you for joining us. There we go. That's what I wanted to get, just barely to see the heat number. We're on heat number 3 of 5 heats here. So interesting to me, folks, that we're getting more heats here of the long distance races than we are of the shorter ones. As I said yesterday, we had 7 heats of the mile. That's crazy. We got 5 heats here, the 500 for the women, and for the guys, let me see how many we have. For the guys 500, we'll have 4 heats. So again, another 9 heats. We had 7 heats of the mile, 9 heats of the 500. We still have the 1,000 to go too. That'll be tomorrow. That's crazy. If you have not done so, folks, please do us a serious solid by clicking both the like in the bottom right of your YouTube screen, but also the subscribe button. This is the second. Taking a quick look, I was curious on that one. All right, we are trying to peek out how many subscribers we already have. I beg your pardon, how many viewers here today. As we're coming up on the, we'll be probably getting close to the last 50 or 100 yards here. All right, currently we have almost 181 people watching, and we've had close to 400 people already that have tuned in, so thank you. There it is. That means we are in the final 50. We transition back to that screen. On the way home, who's going to take this one here for the women? Heat 3 of 5. Seed time to beat was 5:06 by Samantha Fowler. Is she going to be besting that time? We'll see. Winning this heat from Hillsdale, it is Elise Mason, who goes 5:04.59. That's a 10-second drop. Second place is...
And now, Heat 4. In this fourth heat, in lane 1, Laura Galley. Lane 2, Ava Frick. Lane 3, Megan Seeloff. Lane 4, Alexa Heber. Lane 5, Rebecca Wallace. Lane 6, Lucy Wilkerson. Lane 7, Josefina Gonzalez. And lane 8, Jamie Parsons.
All right, thank you, Mr. Graff, for that one. As we are now, we're actually going to go over to Meet Mobile, where it's a great companion to the YouTube channel. So you can see back times or if there were any disqualifications or anything else along those lines, which is what I need to do right here. I'm going to the Meet Mobile. And click on the Davenport Meet. There it is, the Don Kimble invite. Let me go to where we're at. I wanted to see one in particular, 5:16.59. All right, as we are into the about 150 yards in. 5:16:59. All right, coming up here right now at the wall. Actually halfway through right now. In heat number 4 of 5. Our leader, this is rock close, very close. It's Rebecca Wallace from Davenport with a 30.96. Puts her at 158.95. About a half a second ahead of the next two competitors. This is going to be a fun race all the way through. Seed time to beat on this one is Wallace's 5:09:40. Here they come right now on the, I think that's exactly the halfway mark. Wallace at 2:30:11, followed by Seeloff from Wayne State at 2:30:23. So she's within about 0.15 of the leader. They are that close, folks. This is going to be fun all the way through to the end. We'll keep an eye on it. And 3:01:12 to 3:01:69. Now it's about a half a second lead. These competitors are holding their 50s quite impressively. Now you see the coaching staff at the wall now. It is 3:32:24 to 3:32:64. It's about a quarter of a second. Those split times were 31:22 for the leader, 31:17 for second place. So they are really, really competing and holding tight. The interesting part is they're not next to each other. There's a one-lane differential between first and second place. And here we go again. All right, here we come. And it is still real close. You can hear the Taco Bell means the last lap, and I think we have a change in the leaderboard. We do, as Seeloff is at 4:34:95 to Wallace at 4:35:02. And right there as well at 4:35:53 is Hyber. First, second, and third are differential of less than 0.2 of a second. Holy cow, is this one going to be a good finish all the way home? Here they come. And I tell you, folks, from my angle, it's too tough to call. They hit the tape. It is Rebecca Wallace goes 5:04:95. Holy cow, what a finish. That is a 5-second drop. Second place goes to Megan Seeloff, who goes 5:05:16. And then Hyber, who had a great time, 5:05:22, which is her best, she ends up third. But these guys got to duke it out tonight in the finals. So don't read too much into anything of what we just had. We're going to turn it back over to our public address announcer, Brandon Graff, to let you know who's coming up here now.
In this final heat in lane 1, Cassidy Lease. Lane 2, Danica Fessenden. Lane 3, Jordan Fox. Lane 4, Grace Barnhart. Lane 5, Ali Veselakos. Lane 6, Isabel Andrak. Lane 7, Grayson Koletsky. And lane 8, Michaela Muir.
All right, thank you, Brandon Graff, for that one, as we are now in the fifth and final heat of the women's 500-yard prelims. We have seen some great swims already in this one. This has been fun. And I talked about this last night, folks, when we were doing the mile. When you have a mile race and you, nice swim, Rebecca. Nice job. When you have a mile race or the 500 or any of these long distance races, and it's within a half a second between first, second, and third, that's just nuts, folks. That's entertaining and fun. And we've already experienced that one. Rebecca Wallace, longtime swimmer here for Davenport from South Africa. If her parents are watching and listening, they are big fans of the Biscuit in the Basket YouTube network. Thank you for joining us from South Africa. All right, coming up on the 150-yard mark, and in the lead, it's Jordan Fox with a time of 1:25.53. She's still holding those 50s under 30. She's the last swimmer to be under 30 in this heat. So much action and activity going on. This is fun, folks. Thank you for joining us here in the Don Kimble Memorial Swim and Dive Meet, the annual midterm meet of the year, hosted by Davenport University. We'll be right back, folks. Sorry about that, folks. That's the product I was telling you about when my job as the aquatics director gets in the way of this. We are coming on our last 50 right now. In the lead, still holding a 30.66 at 4:30.94. That is Vasilakis from Wayne State. Let's see if she can hold on to that. She has a seed time of 5:80.90. This ought to be good. They're coming up on the 5-minute mark right now and about to hit the wall. Out of lane number 3, our first sub-5 minute of the weekend for the girls in the 500, going 4:59.14, Jordan Fox. Holy cow, folks, that is a 14-second drop and a sub-5 minute. That, my friends, is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs fast and very entertaining. Second place on that one will go to Allie Vasilakis. She goes 5:00.6.
For the men's 500 freestyle, heat 1 of 4.
As you can hear, Brandon Graff, our public address announcer, let us know we're about to transition here into the 4 heats of the men's 500 free.
In this first heat, in lane 1, Austin Husky. Lane 2, Matt Domitsky. Lane 3, Nate Shucklebeer. Lane 4, Christopher Unoze Chin. Lane 5, Pepe Diego Tinoco. Lane 6, Kevin Yoki. Lane 7, Trevor Frericks.
All right, thank you, Brandon Graff, for that one. As the swimmers are in the water, many of these we saw in the mile yesterday. And our seed time to beat in this heat is 5:47.12. Folks, I cannot get over that swim by Jordan Fox, the Wayne State standout. She is ready for tonight's championship finals. That was just a spectacular swim and going sub 5 minutes for the first time this year. Wonderful. That was her walking past us right now. We'll be excited to be able to see that finish here tonight in the finals. Now I'm bookmarking that one on my schedule. Coming up right now on the 150-yard mark for the guys. Looking over, the girls are back up there in round number 5. Trying to remember how many rounds they're going to go in the prelims. Well, I guess they are. I don't think they're going all. It's interesting. I don't know. Taking a look at events we have after the 500 is done, the 4 heats for the men. Then we go into the 100 breaststroke. We'll have 4 heats for the women and 3 heats for the men. The 200 backstroke, which will have 4 heat for the women, 3 heat for the men. The 100 free, which will have 7 heat for the women and 5 heats for the men. The 200 fly, 3 heats and 3 heats. The 800 free relay, 2 heats for the women, 2 heats for the men. And that's it. So I would say we still have about another roughly hour and a half of swimming to go here in the prelims. Joey Sutherland with you here on the Biscuit in the Basket YouTube network. It is truly my honor and privilege. Coming up, we're got to be getting close here to the bell. I just saw John pick it up, so he's taking the cowbell over, which means we're getting close to our final 50 for our leader. And it looks like it's all the way down on the end, and it is. The Taco Bell going off in lane number 7, Trevor Frerich from Wayne State. He's at 4:19.63 going into his last 50. This is definitely on pace for a personal best. They're all over the place, though, on these 50s, from 30 low to 29 high, and taking it with a 29.23 in his last 50 is Trevor Freerich. He goes 4:48.86. He crushed his personal best. And that's going to be interesting. As great of a time as that is, I don't know what it's going to take. I got to get Justin over here. Second place on that one will go to, who got that one? Nate Schluckmeyer. As Schluckmeyer goes 4:55.11. That's a personal best. Third place from Aquinas, Matt Dumpsky, who goes 5:05.23. Also a personal best. All right, I did have to get some clarification on this. We will have the top 24 make it tonight, so we'll have 3 heats for the men and the women, but only the top 16 score. All right, we are into the next heat right now, and we'll turn it over to Brandon Graff, although he's having looks like some technical difficulties. Let's see if he's getting ready to give us the names.
In the second heat in lane 1, Mikhail Nazalik. Lane 2, Logan Byrne. Lane 3, Alex Parczyk. Lane 4, Mason Beal. Lane 5, Harrison Arnold. Lane 6, Zach Dolman. Lane 7, David Gann. Lane 8, Drew Gingrich.
All right, thank you, Brandon Graff, for that one, as we are already into our second 50 here of the 500. This is heat number 2 of 4 for the men's. Prelims, day number 2 of the Don Kimble Memorial Swim and Dive meet here on the campus of East Kentwood High School in the KPS Aquatic Center, hosted by the Panthers of Davenport University. Justin Vasquez, the head coach. This is his 4th year running the meet, 3rd year as the Kimble Classic, the Kimble Memorial. It's hard to believe, folks, I don't want to get too sentimental or sappy, but I can still hear Don Kimble's whistle. He had a very unique whistle when he was coaching or cheering on his swimmers. And I mean, I've had a long career of 34 years, but when you get somebody like Don Kimble, who, when the best of the best get together, they call him boss. It's kind of that kind of thing. He's just, his personality, his enthusiasm, his dedication to the sport was second to none. And for me to say that, folks, is saying something, because I've worked with the best of the best as well. Throw him right up there with a Jock Ambrose, with a Butch Briggs. Go up and down the list with that level. All right, coming up on the halfway mark here of heat number 2 of the men's 500. Mike Torrey. I'm throwing out some of the names who have been so influential in the state of Michigan. As we are now coming up on the next lap, it'll be 350 yards, or next 50 end. Today is also, folks, which makes this duel exciting. I chose this meet mostly because it's here at East Kentwood, but it's also Division 1, 2, and 3 MHSAA State Championship Day. So I'm going to try to check in on some of the action there for this weekend. There's the bell. So that means we're down to our final 50. And we are going to see a really fast time here. He's at 4:09:34 coming into this last 50. At the flip turn, coming home. Lane 4 and 5 respectively. And it's going to be Mason Beal, who goes 4:36.73. Second place goes to Harrison Arnold from Wayne State, 4:37.02. For Harrison, that's an 8-second drop. Third place goes to Zach Dolman from Saginaw Valley State. He goes 4:45. And that's a 7-second drop for him. So, again, great times all around. Mikhail Nizidlak from Davenport goes 5:02.97. That's an 11-second drop.
Next up, Heat 3.
All right. Brandon Graff getting set to tell us who will be here in Heat number 3 of the men's 500-yard free.
In this third heat, in lane 1, Conrad Eichbauer. Lane 2, Nicholas Slater. Lane 3, Gerard Lebrina Ohms. Lane 4, Benjamin Wainman. Lane 5, Scott Hassett. Lane 6, Zach Anguish. Lane 7, Marco Visilic. And lane 8, Nick Bracken.
All right. 50 is in the books. Our leader at the end of the first 50 with a 24.85 is Ben Wainman from Saginaw Valley State. I love the coaches are still doing a great job of getting as much coaching in. For many of these kids, they are this is their first of 2 tapers of the year. It's kind of a mini taper here at the coming up on the holiday portion. Danka. All right, that'll put us at 150 yards with still a 27.58 for Benjamin Wainman from Saginaw Valley holding on the lead there. Taking a peek there in round 5 there of the 3-meter dives. I think that's the final dive of the 5th round. All right, just noticing now that we have which means absolutely nothing to you. as we are Micah never warms up. All right, getting ready here, coming up on at the 350-yard mark here. Our leader still holding 28-14 is Wainman. That's so remarkable to me. We were seeing that yesterday in the mile. Some of the guys were still holding sub-30s going into the end of the race. Crazy fast for that long. There's another 27.98 for Wainman. He's at 3:39.59. His seed time, Benjamin Wainman from Saginaw Valley, 4:33.59. There's only one better seed time, and that's a teammate in the next heat. There is the bell, which tells you we are on the last 50. Wainman with a 27.97 at 4:07. This isn't actually going to be one of his fastest times. He must be saving something. And this is going to be a predominantly Wayne State finals here tonight. Coming in right now and capturing it with a 4:34.59. Second place with a time of 4:36.43 is Gerald Labernia Ohms from Davenport with an 11-second drop. Third place on this one will go to
Heat 4.
Vucelik from Wayne State. And what did he end up with? 4:42 with a 16-second drop. That is just totally insane, folks.
In this final heat, in lane 1, Elliot Hunter. Lane 2, Brandon Princeton. Lane 3, Tomas Jakowski. Lane 4, Mohammed Ben Ajmia. Lane 5, Trevor Jones. Lane 6, Mateo Capitosi. Lane 7, Manuel Casado. And lane 8, Ben Sidlowski.
All right, thank you, Mr. Graff, for that announcement. And again, our seed time in this final heat, fourth and final heat of the men's 500-yard freestyle, is a Mohammed Benamiha from Wayne State. 4:31 is his seed time, which is actually almost 2.5 seconds faster than his teammate Wainman, who we had in the previous heat. From this, again, we will go into the 100 breaststroke, women and men. Then the 200 backstroke, women and men. 100 free, women, then men. And we will end up with the 400 free relay. Oh, no, I forgot the 200 fly first. Then the, yep. Diving is in lane, into round 7. Coming up on the halfway mark here with our leader is actually Trevor Jones from Wayne State with a 2:15.27 at the halfway mark. That's on pace to beat his personal best of 4:44. Flip turn, down in lane 8. Saw that one come in. Taking a look, still holding 287.97, 289 or 28.97 and 28.49, 28.71. Wow, 3 people still going sub 29s on their 50s. As John heads his way over, getting ready for the bell. There it is out of lane 4, which means it's back to Ben Amia with a 28.69, 408.32 going into the final 50. And it's going to be in lane number 4. Benamia goes 4:35.98. Second place at 4:38.44 is Jones. Third place was Chakowski from Wayne with a 4:40.33. That's a 7-second drop, along with that 6-second drop from Jones. That's a Wayne 1, 2, 3.
And now, event 11. Event 13, the women's 100-yard breaststroke, heat 1 of 4.
All right, he said event 11, but of course he meant event 13, the women's 100-yard breaststroke. We're going to have 4 heats of it. And we will turn it back over to Mr. Graff to hear who is going to be in the respective lanes.
In this first heat, in lane 1, Megan Delaire. Lane 2, Kennedy Pierce. Lane 3, Ellie Fontaneda. Lane 4, Mia Ben. Lane 5, Caitlin Sadagita. Lane 6, Rose Haney. And lane 7, Sabine Branford.
All right, thank you, Mr. Graff, for that one. As this is the 100-yard breaststroke, 2 laps. And I'm excited to see if we can get a negative split. We're starting out with 32.51 for Branford in lane number 7. Can she hold that? 32.97. 30, yeah, we're keep an eye on this. Man, I want a negative split so bad. Probably not going to see it, though. Doesn't happen very often. And capturing the first heat with a time of 109.49 is Sabine Branford. Second place, 109.68, down by just 0.2 of a second, is Rose Haney, also from Wayne State. Third place is Megan Delaire. Guess where from? Wayne State. And these are all personal bests. That was 1:12.02. From Aquinas, Kennedy Pierce. She goes 1:15.07. That's a personal best. Still finishing up here. I love how the crowd is really cheering on Ellie Fontanetta. Her seat time was 3:14.98. She is trying to go sub 3 minutes. I don't think she's going to quite do it, but still looks like she's in line for a personal best. Everybody clapping her all the way through to the end, as they should. And she will hit the wall at 3:24.66, getting probably the biggest cheer of the afternoon.
Next up, Heat 2.
And we're off. Brandon Graff will let us know who's in this heat.
In the second heat, in lane 1, Julia Katulski. Lane 2, Lauren Kemp. Lane 3, Hannah Grecki. Lane 4, Claire DeKevitt. Lane 5, Joanna Burham. Lane 6, McCallum Van Eerden. Lane 7, Maya Gold. And in lane 8, Anna Beanstead.
All right. Heat number 2 here of 4 and the 100-yard breaststroke. Seed time to beat in this heat is 107.56 for Claire DeKevitt.
Heat 3.
All right, that
In lane 1, Cassie Scott. Lane 2, Abigail Wampler. Lane 3, Sarah Norman.
okay, having some
In
issues.
lane 4, Mallory Brownrigg. Lane 5, Gracie Chanstrom. Lane 6, Jenna Schmidt. Lane 7, Mia Ponce. And in lane 8, Rotem Adegeko.
All right, thank you, Brandon Graff, for that one, as the scoreboard did not give us a lot to look at on that one, so we're going to have to go back and see who won that second heat. Still haven't put it up. We know Sabine won the first one. Coming back now. I'll still try to get you the winner on that one. But I can tell you this one definitively. Hitting the wall with a time of 105.47.
Heat 4, final heat.
Dropping a second is Mallory Brownrigg. Second place was Jenna Schmidt, who goes 108.70. That's a half a second drop. All right, here we go. Brandon Graff, please tell us who we have.
In this final heat in lane 1, Kayla Logius. Lane 2, Megan Chimini. Lane 3, Hassan Horling. Lane 4, Julieta Vega. Lane 5, Emma Dicka. Lane 6, Tegan Rescher. Lane 7, Madison Lebry. Lane 8, Emma McClellan.
All right, coming up on the halfway mark here in the final heat. It's a 29.98 for Julieta Vega from Olivet Nazarene. And she had the heat time to beat of 102.22. Do we have it in us to see our first sub 1 minute here in the 100 breast? I don't know. It's pretty tough. Even if she went exactly what she went before, it would just be under. I think it's going to be just over here. Let's see. She's inside the flags, and she'll hit the wall at 103.59. For Julieta Vega. Second place on that one will go to.
And now the
Dick
men's 100-yard breaststroke.
Who went
Heat 1.
104.83. And that's a 3.5 second drop. So nicely done as we transition into the guys version. All right. Take it away, Mr. Graff.
In this first of 3 heats, in lane 2, Andrew Koblin. Lane 3, Cesar Robles. Lane 4, Josh Ratier. Lane 5, Yulian Lazea. Lane 6, James Villassi.
All right, the men now. In this first one, the seed time to beat is 57.10 for Rotier, Josh Rotier. Or Rotier, I'm not 100% sure which way that is. Hit the wall to start. Look at that, dead tie almost between Rotier and Lazay at 26.46. On their way home right now, half a pool to go. This is actually quite tight between first through third place. We might have a change in the leaderboard. And it's going to be Rotier over Lazay, 56-13 to 56-66.
Heat 2.
That is a second drop for Josh Rotier and a 3-second drop for Julian Lazay from Davenport. Third place on that one went to lane 6, so it's Violasi. Did he go sub? Yes, he did. All right. Take it away, Mr. Graff. Who's in heat 2?
In the second heat, in lane 2, Tony Parlato. Lane 3, Micah Scholl. Lane 4, Owen Stender. Lane 5, Ethan Horda. Lane 6, Luke Martin. And lane 7, Jason Swinton.
Swenson. All right, coming up on the halfway mark. And it's a 25.99 for Stender from Davenport. He is on a pace to crush his best if he can hold that. Or even come close. Hit the last turn on their way home. Here they come. Heat number 2 of 3. And hitting the wall, Stender goes 54.20. That is a 2.5 second drop for Owen Stender. Second place will go to Micah Scholl, who goes 57.90.
Heat 3,
that's a 2-second drop. Now to our last heat. Who do we have, Mr. Graff? They're in the water.
In this final heat in lane 2, Joe Leonard, lane 3, Brody Millerov, lane 4, Christian Ratier, lane 5, Joey Dumkowski, lane 6, Robert Hall, and lane 7, Griffin Hurley.
All right. At the halfway mark, it is 25-48 for Rotier. Dombrowski is 25-99. That 54-20 by Stender has got the leader so far for the men in the prelims. We'll see the pretty much these same 3 heats in the evening, just adjusted by speed. And it's going to be 54-74 for Rotier. That's a full second drop. And within a half a second of Stender. Second place is Dombrowski.
And now, event 15, the women's 200-yard backstroke, heat 1 of 4.
3.5 second drop for Dombrowski. Now we're going to go into the first of 4 heats here of the women's 200-yard backstroke. Our first heat will have 3 swimmers. Who are they? Tell us, Mr. Graff.
In this first heat in lane 3, Lucy Wilkerson, lane 4, Katie Sanders, lane 5, Madeline Critchell.
Seed time to beat in this one is 2:36.29 for Katie Sanders. $31.98 is the lead for Wilkerson after the first 50. First of 4 50s here in the 200 back. And taking first place, Lucy Wilkerson goes 32.72 in her last 50 for a 2:11.56. That is a personal best. Second place from Aquinas, Katie Sanders goes 2:30.42. That is a 6-second drop. And 2:34.27 for Critchell.
Heat 2.
8-second drop. Who do we have in heat number 2, Mr. Graff? You keep teasing us on it, but we don't know who it is. I'll be right back, folks. Let me cut to a quick commercial.
In the second heat in lane 1, Juliana Witt. Lane 2, Sarah Panchanek. Lane 3, Evie Dice. Lane 4,
Sorry about that,
Wagner.
folks.
Lane 5, Jordan Fox. Lane 6, Amelia Edens. And lane 7, Aubrey Velson.
Thank you, Mr. Graff. as keeping an eye on this one. A close friend of the family, not playing favorites by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm always a big fan of Sarah Patanachek from Hillsdale in lane number 2. Her mom and dad are Creston High School, the now defunct high school graduates. And at the halfway mark, with a 59.68, it's Ella Wagner from Davenport. 59.98, Jordan Fox from Wayne. We are now on the 150-yard mark is coming up here. Will we have our first sub 2 minutes? Probably not in this heat. But it is Wagner at 131.28 with a 31.60, just ahead of Fox, 131.76 with a 31.78. Last 50 to decide who's going to win this heat. Remember, tonight we will have 3 heats of 8 with the top 16 scoring. On their way back right now, coming up inside the flags. Looks like it's about a quarter of a body length lead, and the win for Ella Wagner. She goes 2:02.88. That is a 2-second drop. Fox goes 2:03.20. That is a 4-second drop.
Heat 3.
Crazy fast. Very fun. For the record, Patanachek went 2:13.17. And that is a 2-second drop. We'll be right back. All right, we have an issue here. We got too many people in a lane. They're saying get out. I've never seen a double-double. That would be quite entertaining, especially at the flip turns. All right, now we're underway here.
In this third of fourth heats, in lane 1, Megan Hischer. Lane 2, Maylee Lingy. Lane 3, Ellie Belmore. Lane 4, Paige Howell. Lane 5, Hannah Martin Cook. Lane 6, Sierra Mason. Lane 7, Michaela Van Astel.
John, did you see that? We had a ball fall into the pool. Now John Robertson is trying to get it out for him. And he did. I'm impressed with the nimbleness. You can just barely see him in yours. John, that was impressive. It went into the gutter. That's not good. All right, at 1:00.42 is Hannah Martin Cook from Saginaw Valley State with a 31.23 in the lead at the 100-yard mark. The seed time to beat here is a pretty nail-biter between Olivet Nazarene's Paige Howell and Hannah Martin Cook from Saginaw Valley. They're both in the sub 205 and the mid 204s. And now Martin Cook is at 132.84. Boy, I tell you, folks, this is interesting how this one's going to finish. Coming in right now inside the flags. It's pretty close. And it's going to be 2:05.79 for Belmore. Ellie Belmore goes 2:05.79. That's a 5-second drop. Second place is Hannah Martin Cook, 2:06.08. Third place was
And
Paige
now
Howell,
the final heat
209.
of the women's 200 backstroke.
Is that right? All right, Brandon, who do we have in the heat 4 of 4? And we're off here. And who are they? We are going to have to go to Mr. Graff
In
to
this final
figure
heat,
that
in
out.
lane 1, Emma Hale. Lane 2, Ella Banning. Lane 3, Carolyn Holmes. Lane 4, Alicia Pinkowitz. Lane 5, Caitlin Inman. Lane 6, Irene Del Castro. Lane 7, Marie Suarez de la Fuente. Lane 8, Nikayla Sampson.
All right, thank you, Brandon Graff, for that one. At the first 50, it is Pinkowitz in the lead from Davenport with a 28-14. There's 150 yards to go yet. Then we will transition into the 3 heats of the men. Coming up on the halfway mark in lane 4 with the lead. That's Alicia Pinkowitz with a 30-26 and a 58-40. The next best time is just over a minute at 1:00:63 for Caroline Holmes from Hillsdale. On their way, coming up to the final 50 with now a 3 body length lead. Whoa, somebody hit my camera there. All right, and now we're way off. Thank you. Sorry about that, folks. Now I'm all off my game. Somebody hit my camera. All right, here we go. Coming in the final 50 with a commanding lead for Alicia Pinkowitz from Davenport. And she's going to hit the wall at 2:01:01. Folks, that's almost a 3-second drop. Ridiculous. Second place on that's going to go to Caroline Holmes from Hillsdale with a 2:06:41. That's a 4-second drop. Third place will go to Caitlin Inman from Olivet Nazarene. She goes 2:07:13. So 6 of the 8 times in that heat were personal bests. Always fun to see.
And
Doing
now,
very well.
event 16, the men's 200 backstroke, heat 1
I was
of
just saying
3.
hi. All right, now we're into the men's 200 yard. And in this first heat, let's see who we have for the men in this heat. Brandon? It's the 200
in
yard
this first
backstroke.
heat, in lane 2, Ian Clapp. Lane 3, Matthew Richmond. Lane 4, Marcel Setlack. Lane 5, Clayton Kinnard. Lane 6, Titus Smith. Lane 7, Colin Neely.
Thank you, Mr. Graff, for that one. Seed time to beat here is 1:50:58 for Marcel Setlack from Davenport. All right. Coming up on the halfway mark here. This is very close. Can't tell who's it going to be until they hit the wall. And it's 53:87 to 53:91. Kinnard and Setlack are in a real battle here, but the Davenport Setlack has the lead by 0.04 of a second. Coming up on 150-yard mark. It's Kennard now with a comfortable 1 second lead over Setlak, 121.80 to 122.07, and that's a tongue-in-cheek. It's just a switch of the leaders there. With the last 50 to come, either one can still win this one. Remember, this is only the prelims. They're going to duke it out again tonight in the finals. Will they be in which heat? We won't know. Taking that one with a nice finish. 148.67 is Kennard. Boy, that is a 5 second drop. Setlak, who goes
Heat 2.
150.19. That's a half a second drop. But Clayton Kennard went nuts with that 6 second drop. 5.5 seconds to be precise. In our second heat, it's interesting because you'd never know with the seed times versus the final times on what we're going to get here. Here they go.
In the second heat, in lane 2, Zach Pauly. Lane 3, Ryan Harrison. Lane 4, Eric Slabbert. Lane 5, Mohammed bin Ajima. In lane 6, Bryce Rodriguez. Lane 7, Matthew Lloyd.
All right, thank you, Mr. Graff, for that one. Eric Slabbert has a seed time of 150.46. He's our leader. He'll be in lane number 4. As we're coming up when they hit the wall next at the halfway mark. Oh my goodness. People keep messing with my camera. Sorry about that, folks. Again, it kind of takes me away from what I'm trying to broadcast here. Now I have to adjust it. As we're coming up here. Guess that's the best I can do for now. First place, sorry about that. It was with a time of 148.55. A 3 second drop for Mohammed Benamia. Second place is Slabbert, who goes 150.140. Third place is Zach Pauly from Wayne, who drops 2 seconds to go 2:02.56. And that's going to bring us to our fourth and final heat with our fastest seed time of the day from Saginaw Valley, Alejandro Robles Ruiz.
Heat 3, final heat.
Brandon Graff is about to tell us who we will have swimming in this heat 3 of 3. And we're off.
In this final heat, in lane 2, Joe O'Neill. Lane 3, Ford Crackle. Lane 4, Alejandro Robles Ruiz. Lane 5, Lorenzo Ticinari. Lane 6, Harrison Arnold. Lane 7, Keanu Gorecki.
All right, thank you, Brandon Graff, for this. Our final heat here of the men's 200-yard backstroke. After this, we will transition into the 100 free. The women will have 7 heats. The men will have 5. It is a 25-18 is our leader for Robles Ruiz. Where are we at the halfway mark? 52.43, 52.88, and 55.60. But Robles Ruiz just ahead of Tazanari from Wayne State. And then Crackle from Bethel. 119.80 for Robel Ruiz for the 27.37. 121.58 for Tassinari. As they make their way for their final 50. As diving is wrapping up, or it actually appears to have wrapped up. And congratulations to Alejandro Robles Ruiz from Saginaw Valley State. He goes 147.25.
And now,
that is a second and a quarter drop.
Freestyle, heat 1 of 7.
Second place was Tassinari at 150.93. That's a second drop. Who do we have here in the 100 freestyle? Brandon Graff, take it away.
In this first heat in lane 3, Grayson Kusliski. Lane 4, Megan Delaire. Lane 5, Peyton Michalski.
So it's Michalski in 5, Delaire in 4, and Kosilski from Saginaw Valley is in lane 3. These are all no time, so we're going to see personal best for all three here. Just a matter of who's going to win this heat.
Heat 2.
And it'll go to Grayson. Kosilski goes 56.24. Second with 57.42 is Michalski. Are we missing somebody? Oh, yeah, we are. In lane number 1. Want to wait for Ellie to get up there. All right, here we go. I've just been informed that we will have a 10-minute break after the 200
in the
fly.
second heat of the women's 100 free, in lane 1, Ali Fontanetta. Lane 2, Anna Beanstead. Lane 3, Murphy Crawford. Lane 4, Katie DiBenedito. Lane 5, Lauren Mesky. Lane 6, Riel Shaw. And lane 7, Nerissa Arlene.
Let's take a look at who we have in the leaders for the prelims in the men's 1 meter and the women's 3 meter. We'll start out with the men's 1 meter. It is Owen Fleck from Bethel with 308 points. In 10th place, it's Sam Hudkins from Saginaw Valley with 349 points. Aquinas has 8th and 9th respectively. Tony Barrero has 352.80. Evan Bennett has 359.95. 7th place is Joseph Lenzik from Ashland with 379.95. Jeffrey Cottingham from Wayne State with 385.30. Dylan Tyson from Davenport with 396.05. From Bethel, Nick Bohm with 403.20. Wayne State's John Martin with 4:07.05. From Saginaw Valley State, it is Rory Kaufman with 4:25. And your leader going into the finals, Max Wazanak from Wayne State with 4:26.85. All right, real quickly, winning that first heat with a time of 58.79. I mean the second heat. With a 1.5 second drop. Katie DiBenedetto with a 58.79 and a second half drop. Second
Heat
place
3.
was Lauren Mazuski from Aquinas, who goes 1:00.07, just missed breaking under, dropped a half a second. Heat number 3.
In this third heat, in lane 1, Olivia Leathers. Lane 2, Claire Hines. Lane 3, Emma Scott. Lane 4, Jenna Fugly. Lane 5, Emily Solerski. Lane 6, Kennedy Pierce. Lane 7, Jamie Parsons. Lane 8, Michaela Sampson.
All right, now for the women's 3-meter. In 7th place, Grace Overbeek from Davenport with 3:12. Maddie Whitaker from Ashland with 3:26. Kaylee Mills from Saginaw Valley with 3:27. Wen Wadsworth Kookaroo from Wayne State with 3:49. Ashland's Riley Hunt with 3:61 is in 3rd place. With 3:61.75, a tenth of a point ahead, is Kaylee Smith from Saginaw Valley. And your leader at the end of the prelims, Michaela Senkis from Wayne State with a whopping 4:59.05. Now winning this heat, let's get back to swimming, is Kennedy Pierce,
Heat
56.25. With a 2-second drop. Second place out of lane 4, 55.49.
In this fourth heat, in lane 1, Micah Casper. Lane 2, Ava Frick. Lane 3, Maya Goal. Lane 4, Julia Katolski. Lane 5, Mia Ponce. Lane 6, Megan Seeloff. Lane 7, Kylie Clark. Lane 8, Chloe Boyven.
All right, coming up on the halfway mark here. Heat number 4 of 7 here in the 100 free. A lot of 26s on that one. So the difference between first and fourth is within a half a second. As we're coming up on the back 50. Do we have a negative split in our future? We're finding out right now as they're coming back. This one's close, folks. Even the end lanes are still in this one. Inside the flags. And it will be 54-26.
Heat 5. Heat 5.
In first place, Julia Katulski drops a second and a half to go 54-26. Megan Seeloff from Wayne State also drops about a second and a half for 54-33.
Lane 2, Lucia Ritchie. Lane 3, Jalen Harrison. Lane 4, Samantha Fowler. Lane 5, Grace Charnstrom. Lane 6, Alexa Heber. Lane 7, Ella Yance. Lane 8, Kat Hutter.
We saw Ella Yance last night do a time trial in the 50 free. Now she's here in the 100 free. But our seed time to beat here is Samantha Fowler from Saginaw Valley, 53-18. As they're heading home right now. Inside the flags. Wow, on the end.
Next.
Haley is going to win this one, 53-34. Haley Waters from Wayne State. Second place went to lane 6, Hyber. Wow. Who do we have in Heat 6, Brandon? As they have started this right now.
In the sixth heat, in lane 1, Isabel Ondak. Lane 2, Ashley Perry. Lane 3, Kayla Doible. Lane 4, Hallie Brenner. Lane 5, Emily Helgren. Lane 6, Joya Mitzik. Lane 7, Veronica Markwood. And lane 8, Allison Early.
All right, thank you, Mr. Graff. At the halfway mark, a lot of 25s. Seed time to beat here in heat number 6. And these are close, but it's 53.1 by Haley Briner from Olivet Nazarene, who has swimmers in lanes 2 through 4. Davenport has 5 and 6. This is really close. And it will go Haley Briner, 53.22. Second place out of lane 5, 53.53.
Heat 7.
Half a second drop for Emily Helgren from Davenport. We'll see those two, I'm pretty sure, in the finals. And speaking of final, here's our final prelim. Heat number 7 to 7. As the official asks the next round of competitors to stand up off the block. And now they're off.
In lane 1, Hannah Grecki. Lane 2, Sabine Banford. Lane 3, Isidore Sakarik. Lane 4, Andrea Bustos. Lane 5, Axia Riccioni. Lane 6, Asia Shank. Lane 7, Dominique Van Veery. Lane 8, Caroline Holmes.
All right, thank you, Mr. Graff, for that one. At the halfway mark, it is 25-31, 25-34. First and second place are differential by 0.03 of a second. And looking at all the times we've had so far, 53.22 is the leader.
Next
53.01 wins
event
this
18,
one.
the men's 100-yard freestyle, heat 1 of 5.
Almost a second drop for Bethel's Axa Riccioni. Now we have the men's first heat of 5 of the 100 free. They're off, and Mr. Graff will tell us who we have swimming here.
In this first heat in lane 2, Elliot Mateag. Lane 3, Mohammed Eliwat. Lane 4, Drew Gingrich. Lane 5, Joe Rush. Lane 6, Sawyer Shing. Lane 7, Pepe Diego Tinoco.
All right, coming up at the halfway mark, and a huge lead out of lane 2 for Elliot Mateak. He had a 24.11. I'm guessing he's in no time. He is from Saginaw Valley. And taking it out of lane 2 is Elliot Mateak with a 50.14. Second place is Gingrich
Heat 2.
with a 54.83. That is a 1.5 second drop. Now heat 2 of 5, we have 8 swimmers. Who do we got?
In the second heat in lane 1, Conrick Eichbauer. Lane 2, Andre Bauman. Lane 3, Matt Dominski. Lane 4, Colin Jones. Lane 5, Zach Pauley. Lane 6, Colin Alward. Lane 7, Lucas Harding. Lane 8, Griffin Hurley.
All right, back 50 coming in right now. Who wants this one? This one's going to be close. Looks like lane 4. And it is. Colin Jones from Davenport goes 48.56. That's a 3-second drop. A nice swim for Colin Jones. Second place on that one. Just ahead of him was lane number 3 going 49.36. That was Matt Dumsky from Aquinas. Now we have heat 3.
In lane 1, Gavin Cruz. Lane 2, Nate Shucklebeer. Lane 3, Zach Dolman. Lane 4, Jack Fries. Lane 5, Porter Hoffman. Lane 6, Ryan Kruger. Lane 7, Christian Ratier. Lane 8, Joey Dumkowski.
At the halfway mark, lane 4 with the lead. That's Freeze, 22.1, just ahead of 22.5 and 22.85. Oh, shoot. I didn't see Cruz, 22.67. That's how close first through fourth places as they're making their way back home. Freeze looks like he still has a comfortable lead, and he's going to hit the wall with a time of 45.93.
Heat 4.
That's a half a second drop for Jack Freeze. Second place on that one goes to Hoffman, his teammate, who goes 47.11. That's a half a second drop. In heat number 4, who do we have? Brandon Graff.
In this fourth heat, in lane 1, Ignacio Vinagiri. Lane 2, James Velasi. Lane 3, Jakub Kapinski. Lane 4, Almos Sedlak. Lane 5, Alvaro Ruiz-Decanes. Lane 6, Tomasz Jakowski. Lane 7, Gabe Carell. And in lane 8, Mitchell McMath.
All right, thank you for that, Brandon Graff, as we are now on the back 50 right now. Seed time to beat here is 45.62 from Zedlak. This one's close. And our winner will be out of lane number 4, Almas Zedlak from Saginaw Valley, 46.10.
Final heat.
Second place was out of lane number 6, Tomasz Jakowski, but we do not see his time now. We have several scratches in this last heat.
In this final heat, in
There's
lane
just
1,
one now,
Colin
just
Chase.
lane 6.
Lane 2, Joshua Mahani. Lane 3, Isaac DeVries. Lane 4, Logan Fox. Lane 5, Kevin Mills. Lane 7, Scott Hassett. Lane 8, Trevor Schroeder.
Coming up on the halfway mark right now. At the halfway mark, it is 21.81 for Mills from Davenport, just ahead of 22 flat for Logan Fox. Final 50 on their way right now. Who's going to take this one? Best time we've seen so far is Jack Freeze of 45.93. And on the way inside the flags, hitting the tape, 45.43. It's Logan Fox from Saginaw Valley. .45.43, which is our fastest swim so far today from Saginaw Valley, Logan Fox. Kevin Mills takes second place, 45.75. That's a second plus drop for him. So we should have a very fun race here tonight. But we are now going to transition to the 200-yard butterfly. Our last individual race. We have 3 heats for the women and 2 heats for the men. Beg your pardon. Let me rephrase that. 3 heats for both. All right, waiting for people up on the blocks. Not sure what's going on. The officials are having a conversation about something. Oh, another scratch is actually what it is. So we will patiently wait. There's the whistle. So that means we're going to get people
Next
ready.
Up, event 19, the women's 200-yard butterfly, heat 1 of 3.
.200-yard fly. There's the horn. We're underway. Brandon Graff, who do we have?
In this first heat of the 200 fly, in lane 1, Phoebe Johnson. Lane 2, Ella Althaver. Lane 3, Ines McNichols. Lane 4, Barbara Munoz Quintero. Lane 5, Kayleen Darby. Lane 6, Lauren Cordier. Lane 7, Georgia Harrelson.
All right, now that we know who these 7 are, we'll wait. Coming up on our first 50, 27.92 out of lane number 4. All right. Taking a look at where we're at here. With 50 to go here. The lead 137.29 to 137.42. This one's a dogfight. Very close. Coming into that last 50. Who's going to hold on to this one? And it will be out of lane number 4, going 2:04 flat.
And that's within the margin.
Dropping 5 seconds is Barbara Munoz Quintero from Wayne State. Second place, going 2:12.81, is Kayleen Darby, dropping 2 seconds. Third place, 2:13.82, Inez McNichols.
Next up, Heat 2.
Now we got Heat 2 of the 200-yard fly for the women. 7 swimmers. And they're off. Let's see what we got here.
In this heat, in lane 1, Juliana Witt.
Not really hearing the graph on this. I don't know where he went, but we didn't have a good here on Brandon on that one. Heat number 2 of 3. We're at our first 50 out of it. It's Witt, Lease, Lucera, Zekelnar, Booth, Perea, and Vanisdale. At the halfway mark with a 1:00.55, it's Flora from Saginaw Valley. Finishing the third 50 of 4 in this 200-yard butterfly, heat number 2 of 3. At the wall, it is about a 0.3 of a second differential with Flora still over Marissa. I suspect it's going to go to the last pull. At that last turn on their way home, that difference is, I would say, just a slight advantage here out of lane 4. Zelenar Flora from Saginaw Valley takes that heat, 2:07.08. That drops a quarter of a second for her. Second place is Callie Lucero from Hillsdale. She goes 2:15.40 with a 2-second drop. And that brings us into our final heat
three,
here.
Final heat.
And they're off. Who do we have in this final heat here? Mr. Graff, let us know.
In this final heat in lane 1, Deanna Muccioli. Lane 2, Faith Markley. Lane 3, Taylor King. Lane 4, Megan Clifford. Lane 5, Danica Fassinen. Lane 6, Leah Horvath. Lane 7, Bree Lisich.
And coming up on the halfway mark right now, the seed time to beat in this heat, 2:06.33 by Megan Clifford from Hillsdale. She is at a sub-minute, 59.05 at the halfway mark. That's a good cut. Coming up on yard 150 of 200. And another 31.30 that bring her at 1:30.35. So probably not going to see a sub-2, but still could be about 3 seconds under her fastest time. She held a 31.30, assuming the 32. She's going to be at about 2:02. And hits the wall, 2:03.10. Congratulations, Megan Clifford from Hillsdale. 2:03.10, which is a 3 1/4 second drop and good enough for first place. Heading into the finals tonight, Danica from Wayne State is second with a 2:08.67. That's about 3/4 of a second drop. And now we'll go to the 3 heats for the men.
And now the men's 200 butterfly, heat 1.
And they're off. Who do we got here for the men?
In this first heat in lane 1, Ali Sheet. Lane 2, Gage Papaleo. Lane 3, Arthur Marquez. Lane 4, Trevor Jones. Lane 5, Reed Gilbert. Lane 6, Connor Spanos. And lane 7, Ben Sislowski.
All right, with that, we're at the first 50. We have 4 swimmers in the 25-second range. As we are now in lap number 2 of 4. And the men's 200-yard fly. Seed time to beat, Trevor Jones, 1:53.80. Hitting the wall there. In the lead, 53.85 is Trevor Jones. He's got about a second, or actually a quarter of a second lead over Marquez from Saginaw Valley. Coming in here at the we at? 1:23.79. Still sub 30 second for Arthur Marquez. He's now got the lead going into the last 50. And here they come back. Looks like it'll be lane 4 taking it. Trevor Jones goes 1:54.72. Second place out of lane 3, Marquez goes 1:56.10. That's a 5-second drop there for Arthur Marquez. Heat 2 coming up here now. Let's see who we will have swimming in it for the men's 200 fly.
In the second heat, in lane 1, Joshua Mahaney. Lane 2, Nick Bracken. Lane 3, Alex Duhame. Lane 4, Eric Pertzak. Lane 5, Sibi Raj. Lane 6, Joe Sheets. Lane 7, Joe Leonard. Lane 8, Matteo Capitozzi.
All right, thank you, Mr. Graff, for that one. As at the first 50, it was Perzak with a 24. Eric Perzak from Davenport. As they're coming back on the halfway mark here in the fly, it will be Perzak with another 28 going 52.60. Again, the seed time to beat here is Perzak's 1:51.77. That's the second fastest time in the seeds in the prelims. At the wall, 1:21.21. And then a really fight between Alex and Sibi from Wayne State and Saginaw Valley for second place in this heat. At the last wall, coming home. This is going to be a really good time for Perzak, it looks like. And he goes sub 150, folks. Holy cow, 1:49.79. Eric Perzak takes the heat and our first sub 150 of the day in the 200 fly. Wow. It went from 0 to super excitement. Alex Duhame took second place with a 1:55, a 6-second drop. But that 4-second drop there for Perzak was impressive. Now our final heat.
In lane 1, Christopher Uzone Chin. Lane 2, Joao Pedros Nogueira. Lane 3, Santiago Rafael. Lane 4, David Siskow. Lane 5, Rodrigo Vargas. Lane 6, Colin J. Lane 7, Lucas Harding. And lane 8, Nicholas Slater.
All right, thank you, Brandon Graff, for that one. 24-23 for Sizgail from Davenport as the lead at the first 50. Still lots to go here. Coming up on the halfway mark here on the third and final heat. 51-20 for Sizgail. We are in the back end of this 200 fly. Last heat for the men. Coming up at the 150-yard mark. David Siskow with Davenport at 1:19.56 with a 28:36. Looking for our second sub 150. And hitting the wall, going another sub 150, 149.93. David Siskel with Rodrigo Vargas going 153.76 for second place. And still getting a big round of applause, Christopher Azuno Chin, one of my favorites from Aquinas, who goes 221.37. And that's a full second drop, so congratulations, Christopher. Now we got a quick 10-minute break here before we get to our last 4 heats of the afternoon. That'll be the freestyle relay. We'll be right back. All right, sports fans, Joey Sutherland back with you here. Thank you for joining us on the Biscuit in the Basket YouTube network. We are getting set for our final event of the prelims here in the morning. It'll be the men's and the women's 800 free relay. 2 heats for the women and 2 heats for the men. I'm not sure if we'll have 2 or 1 heat this evening for those. All right, we're getting our, I don't have the names of the relays, so that's a good thing we have Mr. Graff here to tell us who's who.
For the women's 800 free relay, heat 1 of 2.
All right. The first heat competitors are on the blocks. Take it away, Mr. Graff. Let us know who are the 4 teams, that, or is it 5? We're not even seeing the scoreboard right now. Some kind of issue here. They know. They know. All right, now the scoreboard is cooking. We still don't know who we have in the lanes. I can tell you the schools. It's Bethel B in 2, Bethel A is in 3, Davenport B is in 4.
In this first heat, in lane 2, from Bethel, Garley, Logias, Suarez de la Fuente, and Rescher. Lane 3, from Bethel, Harrison, Riccioni, Gonzalez, and Van Bury. Lane 4, Davenport, Muir, Gomez Garcia, DeKeevan, and Brownrigg. Lane 5, from Aquinas, Edens, Hitchner, Hines, and Boyven. And lane 6, from Aquinas, Felch, Althaver, Hale, and Heath.
All right, thank you, Brandon Graff, for that one. As my heat sheet does not have the names of the relay participants, as we're getting ready to exchange. And it is Bethel A and Aquinas A within a tenth of a second of each other. 200.19 to 200.3. Thank you. All right, now I have those so I can equally share with you who is doing what, and we'll have it when we get our championship heat here.
We had all of our time trials entered, right? Okay, so we go to events.
We are in the 3rd leg here of the, I beg your pardon, the 2nd leg, because each swimmer swims 200 yards. So these are a little bit longer than the 2x4, if you will. 29:01 there for the Davenport swimmer. Puts them back into this race. And at the, what is the seed time to beat here? 8:09. So we're coming up on the halfway mark here. There's the next exchange. About 10 seconds off the leader. 4 seconds off the second place. We'll keep an eye on this as we get ready. We are now into the third leg here of the first of 4 heats of the 800 free relay. Each swimmer swims 200 yards, which is the equivalent of 4 laps of 50 yards or 8 wall touches. So there's 32 total wall touches here and 16 laps. What do we got? Aquinas B with a 29.49. Bethel with a 30.40. Davenport 30.65. Let's see, Aquinas A 33.12. The Bethel B 32.57. And there's a 31.16 for Bethel A, 32.12 for Davenport B. Bethel B with a 34.25 brings them up to 5:46.28 as we get set for our next exchange into the anchor swimmers. It's going to be Bethel in the lead at 5:59.22 with a 31.68. Second place Aquinas B, 6:03. Third place Davenport, 6:03. They're within a half a second of each other. And then Aquinas A at 6:11.45. Oh, thank you. Yay, we have 3 time trials after the completion. Coming up here right now with still 27s for Bethel A, Davenport B. What was that? 27.87, 28.87 for Aquinas A, 27.82 for Bethel B. And 30.86 for Bethel A. 33.47 for Davenport B. 32.75 for Aquinas B. Congratulations to the Bethel A with a 30.82 to go 7:58.05. That's a nice swim. That's a season best for the Bethel squad. Sub 8 minutes there. Second place goes to Davenport B, 8:10.39. That's exactly their time. Third place Aquinas A, 8:17.47. Bethel B, 8:24.30. And Aquinas B coming in right now in lane 6. They were hoping to go sub 8:50. I think they're going to have it. It's going to be close.
Heat 2,
and they do.
final heat.
8:48.60. Now we are final heat with Hillsdale B in lane number 1. Davenport A is in lane 2. Hillsdale A is in lane 3. Saginaw Valley is in A is in 4. Olivet A is in 5. Wayne State A is in 6. Wayne State B is in 7.
In the second heat, in lane 1 from Hillsdale, team of Parsons, Del Castro, Paninsik, and Lucero. In lane 2 from Davenport, Wallace, Midsick, Helgren, and Engelsman. In lane 3 from Hillsdale, Manson, Arendick, Holmes, and Clifford. In lane 4 from Saginaw, Fowler, Bustos, Wilkerson, and Heber. In lane 5 from Olivet, Bernier, Doible, Inman, and Barnard. In lane 6 from Wayne, Vasilikos, Winos Quintero, Seeloff, and Fox. In lane 7 from Wayne, Booth, Belmore, Fessenden, and Waters. And in lane 8 from Saginaw, Frick, Kozlowski, Clark, and Schmidt.
Davenport after the first 50 in the lead at 26:08. As we're coming up to the halfway mark of the first leg, it will be Davenport holding on the lead at 54:34, and then a plethora of 55s. Very unusual for lane number 2 to have the lead, but this is only the first leg of 4. That lead's going to go up slightly there. Who's swimming that for Davenport? I believe that's Rebecca Wallace. It is. As she's got 50 yards to go, holding sub 30. Only 2 swimmers still holding sub 30 right now at 1:23.48 with a 2-second lead as we get ready to transition into the second leg. And now at 1:53 flat with a 29:52. A couple of good 29s there on that last 50. As we go to leg 2. Davenport holding a slight lead. At the first one, it is, wow, got it a little closer. 2:19.33 for Davenport with a 26:33, but Saginaw Valley with a 25:86 is at 2:20.99. Coming up on the halfway mark of the second leg, we might have a change in the leaderboard here. Looks like all the way down in lane 6. It is Wayne State A at 2:49.30. Then 2:49.70. Wow, actually Davenport dropped all the way down to third place. Saginaw Valley, 2:49.72. And now, yeah, you can start to see a little separation there as Wayne State A is at 3:18.35, then 3:19.44 for Saginaw Valley, 3:21.52 for Davenport A. As a 29 for that last 50 there as we go into the third legs.
On the right, take out the 2 diving events at the bottom. Yes. All right, now you have to go to Sunday prelims. Take those out.
This is getting kind of fun here. Let's see where we're at with the leaders. Wayne State A 29:09, 4:42. 5-second lead over Saginaw Valley and 6-second over Davenport. But still, look at these times. 28:65 for Hillsdale. They got back into that one. All the way down Wayne State in lane number 6 with a 29:76, 5:11.88. Coming in. What was the time there? 29:64 at 5:41.52. Still a 6-second lead over the rest of the bunch. This is still the prelims, though, folks. Don't forget. And there could be some switching in who is swimming there tonight. Okay, that isn't right. She did not swim a 16:77. I don't care what it says. Now we have 26:57, 26:87, 27:04, 26:83. Some really good swims here, the anchor swimmers. Final 50 coming up here. With a huge lead right now out of lane. Lane 5. At 6:56.68. Interesting as they're coming back now. Our seed time to beat was 7:44.99 by Saginaw Valley in lane 4. Now it's a flat-out brawl sprint. And it looks like 7:33.37 for Wayne State A. That is a 15-second drop. Second place on that one will go to Hillsdale, who goes 7:42.14. That's a 4-second drop. Third place is Saginaw Valley, 7:42.42. That's a 2.5-second drop.
And now, Heat 1 of the men's 800 free relay.
All right, we'll turn it over to Brandon Graff here. For the first of two here for the men's 800. These are all no times, but they'll all be personal bests.
In this first heat in lane 3, Aquinas, Parlato, Braken, Uzone Chitton, and Allward. In lane 4, from Bethel, Casado, Vinagiri, Crackle, and Burnt. In lane 5, from Aquinas, Sidlowski, Hurtado, Eichbauer, and Clapp. In lane 6, from Bethel, Bowman, Hunter, Gingrich, and Anguish.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Graff, for that one. As the teams now are, what are we at? Our first 100, and Bethel A at 51.23. Aquinas A at 53.76.
It could very well be that the coach did not add him in the high tech, so it's not in the system.
Actually, don't forget about Bethel B at 53.03.
Still an athlete.
Each swimmer swims 200 yards. We're only at the halfway mark here of the first leg. And we will have one more heat of the 800 after this. And then we will have 3 time trials, which will consist of a 200 IM, 100 breast, and 100 free. Bethel A still holding this heat at a 145.68 as they transition into the second leg. We'll have a nice little couple-hour break here before we have the finals tonight. Warm-ups for finals begins at 4 o'clock. We'll go on the air about 5:50 with a 6 o'clock start.
Well, now you got to explain to your coach why your teammate doesn't have to split. Now, granted, there's a large number of
And still hold, we're still seeing sub 27s here right now in these 50s. Until that one from Bethel A. I got to double check that one. That says 35.79. I don't think I believe that. Aquinas A 28.25. 30.4 for Bethel B. 29.77 for Aquinas B. So this is Aquinas Bethel duking it out here.
I tried for alliteration, didn't work. Hey man, you totally put it on the computer twice. Bad call.
And now we're looking at 30.66 in lane 4, 28.66 in 5, 32.10 in 6, and a 30.95 in lane 3. Final heat of the men's, or excuse me, first heat of the men's 800 free relay. $28.87 for Bethel in lane 4, $26.48 for Aquinas in 5, $29.78 for Aquinas in 3, and $31.72 for Bethel in lane 6. Now a $24.85 for Aquinas in lane 5 and a 25 flat for Bethel in lane 4. $27.32, $27.83 respectively. And lane 6 and 3, first for Bethel. Now $27.91 for Bethel in lane 4, $28.69 for Aquinas in lane 5.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, Liza.
We're at the 4.5 minute mark.
Remember how Stephanie would just say things in German in front of everyone? I just did that, didn't I? Oh, my bad. At least I'm more self-worth than he is,
$30.92 for Bethel in lane 6, $32.27 for Aquinas in lane 3, $28.95 for Bethel in lane 4. Aquinas' 5 is $29.61. We're at 50094 for Bethel, 502.95 for Aquinas, their respective A's in lanes 4 and 5. $29.19 for Aquinas A in lane number 5. 24-32 for Bethel in lane 4. 31-94 for Bethel in lane 6. Aquinas in lane 5. 25-92. Aquinas B in lane 3. 32-28. Just over the 6:15 minute mark here with our seed. These are all going to be first scores. Now we're seeing 26-62, 28-28, 28-24 for lanes 3, 4, 5. $29.49 in lane 4, $28.60 in 5, $29.64 in 5, and $30.37. First place going 7:21.06 is the Bethel A. Second place 7:25.71. And I said 7:26, I meant 7:21. Third place, Bethel B goes 7:47.47. So let me rehash that one. It was 7:21.06 for Bethel A to win it. 7:25.71
Heat
for
2,
Aquinas A
final
for
heat.
second place. All right, now we are going to have in here the final second heat of the men's 400 free.
In this final heat in lane 1 from Wayne, the team of Arnold, Eastlick, Kruger, and Duhame. In lane 2 from Saginaw, Slabbert, Wainman, Dolman, and Hassett. In lane 3 from Davenport, Sitlak, Mills, Ruiz DeCanis, and Ciscal. In lane 4 from Saginaw, Seedlack, Fox, DeVries, and Robles Ruiz. In lane 5 from Olivet, Huffman, Fries, Huerta, and Beal. In lane 6 from Wayne, Jones, Kinner, Jakowski, and Ben Ajamia. In lane 7 from Davenport, Sandstedt, Lebmerna, Pertsitzen, and Papaleo. In lane 8 from Olivet, Parsich, Harrison, Corral, and Gann.
All right, thank you, Brandon Graff, who is both our public address announcer and our meet manager, as he gave us the lineup in the heat number 2 of 2. So again, remember, we have Wayne State B in lane 1, Saginaw Valley B is in lane 2, Davenport A is in 3, Saginaw Valley A is in 4, Olivet Nazarenes A is in 5, Wayne State's A is in 6, Davenport B is in 7, Olivet Nazarenes B is in lane 8. At that flip turn with a 25.79, Saginaw Valley at 1:14.34, they have the lead. As they come in, we'll have our first exchanges. So we'll be able to tell you where we are at the end of the first leg. Looks like it's a comfortable lead in lane number 4 for Saginaw Valley. And it is 140.02. 142.62 for Wayne is in second. And then a whole bunch of 144s is really close. Davenport A and B are in a virtual tie. Throw in Saginaw Valley B and Olivet Nazarene A. That's not correct. No way. It's got a 15.35 for Davenport A. Folks, if he swam a 15.35 and a 50 free, I'm signing him up right now to head to the Olympics. He did not go that fast. Saginaw Valley A with a 25.94 in the lead at 2:28.96. Then Davenport A at 2:33. As we're at the 150-yard mark here for the second leg. All right, you can see some of the next exchanges coming up here shortly. We got them all up on the blocks here, but it's going to be in the lead in lane 4, Saginaw Valley at 3:20.03, and then 3:22 for Wayne State A. .2267 for Saginaw Valley in lane 4. And then a couple of 23 mids for Wayne State and Saginaw Valley B. Those are fast 50s, folks. About to hit the wall again. We're still seeing mid-25s for the leaders. And some of the second-tier swimmers are going 27s now. But this is interesting here. 26:36 for Saginaw A at the 4:35 mark. The seed time to beat in this one is 6:42. And making the exchange again. It's getting Saginaw Valley with a comfortable lead at the 5:01 mark. Wayne at 5:05, then Davenport at 5:11, and Saginaw Valley B at 5:12. Now we're still seeing 22s and 21s on these 50 from the anchor swimmers. Just coming up on the 6-minute mark here. Still 24:79 for Saginaw Valley going into their final 50. We do have 3 time trials at the conclusion of this event. And taking first place, Saginaw Valley goes 6:38.89. That's a 3-second drop. Second place, Wayne State, 6:50.51. That's a 5-second drop. Third place, Davenport A, 6:54.56 here. That's a half a second drop. Fourth place, Saginaw Valley B, 6:56.59. That's a 3.5 second drop. And some good times all around, but congratulations to the team of Zedlak, Fox, DeVries, and Rubles Ruiz For Saginaw Valley, they go 6:38.89 to take the prelim. And that will bring us up to these time trials, which they're going to do right away. We're going to see Ella Yance again. We saw her from Saginaw Valley yesterday. But starting off, it will be Megan Samini from Saginaw Valley doing the 200 IM. Then Erin Allegri from Olivet Nazarene doing the 100 breast. And finally, Yance doing the 100 free. We thank you for joining us here on the Biscuit in the Basket YouTube network. Remember, our finals tonight will take place. We'll go on the air at just before 6 o'clock, about 5:50. As Megan Samini, as I said, is doing the 200 IM here.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's not going to
They don't have the right name up on the board. They don't even have the right school. But the time looks right, so I guess that's all that really matters. You got to trust me, though, when I tell you it's Megan Samini. We are going to clip Mr. Graff here. And she'll be coming up back here in a second. We'll see where she's at. Megan finishing up her backstroke as she'll transition into the breaststroke is at 106.63. I'll take it so I can charge it. Oh. As we're waiting for her to finish the breaststroke here. Thank you, sir. All right. She's now into her freestyle. She's at 2:02 and with coming in from the freestyle. I'm suspecting she wanted to go sub 2:20. She's going to have to hustle here. Let's see what her time ends up being. Inside the flags at 2:15. This one's going to be close. 18:19. And she did it. 2:19.64. Nicely done there, Megan Samini. She gets a big applause from her teammates. And now we're going to bring in the 100 breaststroke for Erin Allegre from Olivet Nazarene.
Next up is Erin Allegre doing the 100 breaststroke.
All right, Erin all by his lonesome in lane number 4. Wow, somebody thought that would be funny. And we're underway. Again, the scoreboard is incorrect. It's Erin Allegre, not Nick Bohm. This is the 100 breast, 2 laps. Hits the wall at 28.88. He wants to go sub a minute. It's going to be close. It's going to be really close. He's going to have to hold this one. He doesn't need a negative split, but he's got to just about hold that 28.88. He's at the wall. Is he coming back already? It's close. He's at 50 with a great. Now he's picking up the pace. The engine is moving. Can he make it? It's really close. 57, 58 inside the flags. 59. He's over a minute, and he'll hit the wall at 1:01:41. Not a sub 60, but still a very good time. And finally, Ella Yance with a 100 free from Saginaw Valley. This is our final swim here of the prelims, and then it's break time. There we're off. She has 2 laps, 4 wall touches of the front crawl. Coming back right now, she's wants to hit the wall under 25. At 23, 24, 25, 20, 25.79. She doesn't need a negative split, but she's going to have to try to hold that 25.79, no more than 26. Can she do it? We'll find out here at the last flip turn on her way home. 42 seconds. Half a pool length to go. Can she go sub 55? It's going to be close. Inside the flag, she hits the wall. 55.33. All right, congratulations, Ella Yance, on the 55.33. Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to conclude our prelims stream here today. We will have the final stream again beginning around 5:50 this evening. We want to thank you for joining us once again here at the 2023 Don Kimble Memorial Swimming and Dive, hosted by Davenport University here at East Kentwood High School, the KPS Aquatic Center. I'm Joey Sutherland. For my director and producer, Chase Joseph, I want to thank you for joining us. We will be back this evening. Until then, thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great afternoon. We'll see you tonight. God bless.